Hey, you know what can feel good? Being good. But you know what can also feel good? Being bad. In fact, quick little story for you. Over this past weekend, I baked myself a loaf of banana bread. Now, the suggested serving size is one slice, but you know what I did? Ate the entire loaf. What can I say? That's just the life of a bad boy. But as nefarious as that may seem to all of you, it pales in comparison to the dastardly deeds of Superman 64. You want to talk about a game that has a reputation for being bad, look no further than that game. The thing is with a game like Superman 64 is that it could have been kind of bad, kind of okay, or even kind of good, but none of those would have made it as well known as it is today, other than being as bad as so many gamers consider it to be. But hold on a second, if people think it's so bad, then why do they even bother talking about it? With a lot of things, when they're bad, people can't wait to be done with them. A bad day, a bad relationship, a bad sandwich. Well, when it comes to bad video games, people sure do like to make fun of them. Now, as far as who exactly it is that's criticizing these games the most, it's most likely people who have played the games an extensive amount of time. Not that people who haven't played the games at all aren't willing to join in on the fun themselves, just kind of taking everyone else's word for it that the games are indeed bad. But I find that the people with the strongest feelings are those who were personally invested at one point. Now, maybe they got the game as a kid, and if they did, since a lot of us as kids didn't get as many games, if one of those games was a stinker, that could be absolutely devastating, and you could take that game as a personal insult to you. So you got burned by a game. What do you do next? Well, you could just let it go, but oh no, you gotta criticize that game and likely share that criticism with others, namely the retro gaming community, which I've always felt is about finding that shared experience with others, whether it's games that you like or games that you don't like. So if you're talking about a game that you really don't like and you're giving reasons that somebody else can identify with, they may think, hey, that game screwed me too. You're speaking my language there, buddy. And even if they haven't played the game you're talking about before, some people just find other people's frustration and aggravation to be funny, and depending on the person, by expressing their own frustration and aggravation, depending how they do it, it can be fun for them. And of course, this can apply to all sorts of things and not just video games. For example, quick little story for you. So when I was a kid, my dad needed to get rid of one of our old computers. And he came to me and said, son, today is gonna be a day. And we went out into the backyard where lying there was our old computer and a sledgehammer. Now, for some reason, we needed to break it down in order to recycle it. And so my dad figured, hey, I hate this thing, let's send it out with a bang. So we bashed the ever-loving bejesus out of that old computer, and it was a lot of fun. Although, now that I think about it, is breaking down electronics to recycle them actually a thing? But whether you're bashing something literally or figuratively, it can feel good to release that frustration. Plus, when it comes to games, some of the criticisms that people are making involve things that are just so bizarre, strange, or just downright wacky that they're fun to point out. Like in Ninja Turtles for NES, which I actually like this game by the way, but the fact that the turtles die when they go in the water, why can't turtles swim in water? But here's a question, is bashing these games harmful? Well, with a sledgehammer, yes, I don't think anybody would argue against that, but what about just making fun of them? I mean, they're just games, they don't have feelings, they're not people, except you know who made them? That's right, people. And you know who else likes these games? That's right, other people, because thing is, for every game that one person or a whole bunch of people don't like, there is somebody out there who does enjoy that game. Even Shaq Fu and Superman 64, every game has its fans. Would you ever call somebody's baby ugly? No, you wouldn't. Well, not to their face you wouldn't at least. Well, when I see somebody slandering a game like Rocket Knight Adventures, which to be fair doesn't happen very often, but when it does I think, that's my baby they're talking about. They can't do that. But perhaps that's just the price we pay for having a community where everybody's gonna be sharing their opinions about games. And if you are somebody who likes a game that a lot of people bash, you're probably used to it by now and you're at peace with it. Like somebody who wears socks with sandals. They think, you know what, a lot of people don't like this, but this is the life I've chosen to live. I think another big reason why people choose to bash games that they think are bad is to give perspective on what makes a good game. You gotta have that entire spectrum from bad all the way to good. What is it that moves something from one side or to the other? And as somebody who plays games, you can feel it when you switch from a game that you think is bad to a game that you think is good. You think, now we're cooking with gas. This feels right. Thing is, as fans of video games, almost every game is interesting to us in some way or another, whether it's because we really enjoy playing it, really enjoy bashing it and making fun of it, or perhaps playing it while you bash it and make fun of it. There's a lot of those games for sure. Video games are just a very fun form of media by nature, so that even when things go wrong, it provides a lot of opportunity for fun commentary. But for this video's question, I want to ask all of you, for the sake of positivity, to list a game that, yes, you bash it as being bad, but you also actually enjoy the game anyways for whatever reason. Really curious what kind of answers you'll have cooked up for that. So with that, leave your answers down below and I will see ya in the next video.
He's the retro bird, yeah, and he's talking about video games. He's the